What if a forest could stop a desert, and when? In northern China, something amazing has happened. A place that was once covered in sand, where the sky turned dark and people lost their homes, is now full of green trees and growing crops. The desert is shrinking, and it's all because of a forest so big you can see it from space. But this isn't just about trees, it's about people fighting to save their land. In this video, you'll see how China turned sand into hope and changed the world. When the desert took over everything. Imagine waking up one morning and finding your house half buried in sand. The sky is thick with dust, your animals are coughing, your crops are gone, and this isn't just bad luck, it happens every single year. This was life in northern China in the 1970s. The Kubuqi Desert was growing at an alarming rate. Every year, it swallowed up more land, more than the size of Rhode Island. In cities like Beijing, sandstorms struck over 50 times a year. These weren't light breezes, they were monster storms that shut down airports, filled hospitals, and turned cities into ghost towns. People couldn't breathe. Farmers watched their lands vanish. China was losing $54 billion each year because of desertification. Life was hard. Herders like 60-year-old Mang Baiyong Dao Gitao remember building homes from mud and straw, only to watch them vanish beneath the sands. The desert wasn't just a problem, it was winning. A game-changing discovery. In 1988, a businessman named Wang Wenbiao found himself at the center of the Kubuqi Desert. He had just taken over a failing salt company. The salt was ready, the buyers were waiting, but there was one massive problem: the sand. The nearest train station was only 65 kilometers away, but shifting dunes meant delivery trucks had to drive 350 kilometers just to reach it, and when sandstorms hit, the roads became completely impassable. Wang decided to build a road straight through the desert, but within weeks, it disappeared under the sand. That's when Wang realized something. If he wanted to save his business, he had to stop fighting the desert and start transforming it. And he wasn't going to do it alone. Welfare work can't last forever, said He Pengfei, one of Wang's colleagues. We had to make sure the local people earned something too. The idea was simple but powerful. Make the desert fighting project profitable for everyone, and that's when things truly started to change. Planting trees in the desert. You might wonder, how do you plant a forest in a place that gets less rain than the Sahara? At first, Wang's team paid locals to plant trees. But most of those trees didn't survive. The harsh climate, the lack of water, and storm winds made survival almost impossible, so they changed the plan. Instead of paying people just to plant, they gave bonuses for every tree that survived. Suddenly, people started caring for the trees like their own children. They watered them, protected them, and watched them grow. But human care wasn't enough, scientists got involved. Across China, they began developing new kinds of trees. 85 special varieties, all built to survive in the desert. One amazing breakthrough was the new Siberian elm. Its roots can reach 80 meters underground, deeper than a 26-story building. And it survives with only 100 millimeters of rainfall a year. They also invented a clever trick called fish scale pits. These crescent-shaped holes catch and hold rainwater, helping trees stay alive even in dry times. Due to these pits, tree survival rates jumped from 20% to 80%. Planting also got a high-tech upgrade. Workers use powerful water jets to plant a tree in just 10 seconds, a job that used to take 10 minutes. Of course, there were failures too. We imported poplar seeds from the US, said He Pengfei. But they didn't work. It took 25 years before the project started turning a profit. But in the end, patience paid off. The Great Wall rises. Since 1978, China has planted around 100 billion trees. That's enough to wrap around the planet 60 times. In northern China, forest cover has grown from 5% to 13.5%. That might not sound like much, but in a region the size of a continent, it's a giant leap. And for locals like Meng, life has completely changed. His herd of 200 sheep has grown to 700 plus 80 cows. He now earns up to $30,000 a year, which was unthinkable before. His son, Kadalai, runs a restaurant serving local dishes to tourists who come to see the forest that used to be a desert. Before we needed a whole day to get a box of matches, Kedalai says, now we serve guests every day. Farmer Wu Zihua earns $900 a month growing licorice between the trees, more than her son makes working in a coal mine. I hope he can come back one day, she says. There is hope here now. Today, 1/3 of the once barren Kubuqi Desert is covered in green. The United Nations has valued this transformation at $1.8 billion over 50 years, and the project is part of something even bigger: China's Great Green Wall, a forest stretching 4,500 kilometers designed to stop the deserts from spreading. A forest of the future. Of course, no plan is perfect. Some scientists worry that the trees might use too much groundwater. Others note that planting only one type of tree can make forests weak against disease. But instead of giving up, China is adapting. New forests now include a mix of trees, shrubs, and grasses, stronger together and needing less water. Researchers are also testing smarter irrigation systems that use 70% less water. And in the middle of this new Greenland, another surprise has bloomed. A massive solar farm. With 650,000 panels, it generates half the power of the Hoover Dam. Beneath the panels, crops grow, shaded and watered by recycled water from cleaning the solar equipment. The world is paying attention. Teams from 87 countries have visited to learn from China's model. Inspired by Kubuqi, 11 African countries are now building their own Great Green Wall across the continent. From despair to green dreams. What began with one man and a vanished road has turned into a global model for fighting desertification. In Kubuqi, people are no longer fleeing the sands. They are planting roots, building homes, and creating a future. Standing on this once barren land, 60-year-old Meng watches a newborn lamb take its first wobbly steps. Just years ago, this place was a lifeless dune. Now it's a symbol of what people can do when they work with nature instead of against it. Even the desert, it turns out, can bloom again. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed the story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content like this.